everyone, it's Kimberly and I am here today to show you my new TBR jars that I have made and pick my TBR for May. First I have this bowl which has some unfinished things in it. So what you might not know about me is that I tend to be a one book at a time sort of person usually. Like I want to just read that one book until it's done. But I guess I've been being busy with stuff and having a lot of reading slumps in the past 6 months or so, and I've read about halfway through quite a few books for me that I never finished, and it's kind of dragging on me that I haven't finished those books. So I put them in here, and these are kind of like unfinished books that I really need to get to, or books that I've been meaning to finish in a series for the past few months or something. So these are like more high priority TBRs. Then I made 2 jars, TBR nonfiction and TBR fiction. So these are most of the books that I own and have not read that I've been meaning to read for a long time but I just haven't gotten to. And some of them I'm really excited about reading but I just don't get to them. So I thought it would be good to maybe pick one per month from the nonfiction and one per month from the fiction. So you probably have noticed I don't have a lot of TBRs on my channel. That's because I don't really like to make TBRs. I kind of like to just see how I'm feeling about stuff. So I tend to be bad about sticking to TBRs, so I don't usually make them. But I thought if I just pick one from my nonfiction jar and one from my fiction jar per month, that would be okay and it wouldn't feel too much pressure because it's just 2 books. And if I just really don't want to read that one that month or something, I can put it back and pick another. But yeah, so I'm going to pick one from my TBR nonfiction and one from my TBR fiction for May, and then I'll also pick one from my unfinished jar for May as well. So here is my TBR fiction I have written on it, and I'm going to open it up. Alright, Alright, let's see, there are a lot in here. Okay, this is my fiction TBR jar item for May. Let's see what it is. Oh my gosh! Lord of the Rings. Reread The Hobbit first, it says. Okay, so it is my greatest shame that I have not read The Lord of the Rings. Like, my greatest shame. My favorite genre is fantasy. All my favorite books are probably inspired by The Lord of the Rings, and I still have not read it, and it is so embarrassing, and I can't believe I haven't read it. So it looks like in May I will finally be reading Lord of the Rings, and I will be rereading The Hobbit before I read The Lord of the Rings. And I mean, The Hobbit I've already read maybe 9 times before and I love it. It's one of my favorite childhood books, but for some reason I still haven't read The Lord of the Rings. I think it's just that every year I thought, oh, I'll just save it for the summer when I have time, and then I never have time, so it needs to happen. So in May I'm reading The Lord of the Rings and rereading The Hobbit first. So that is, I'm kind of excited that I got that for my first one for the TBR fiction, because this is one that I really need to get to. Alright, so that was my fiction item for May. Here is my nonfiction TBR jar. Alright, so here's nonfiction. The Lonely Patient. This is a book, nonfiction book about how we experience chronic illness as patients, and so this will be really interesting, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So yeah, that was a good pick for nonfiction. So my fiction item is reread The Hobbit for the, I don't know, 10th time, and then read The Lord of the Rings for the first time. And my nonfiction item is The Lonely Patient. So even though I kind of less want to pick from these because they're kind of ones that I stalled on for some reason, I'm gonna pick one. Alright, this is reread and finish Daring Greatly. So Daring Greatly by Brene Brown is a book that was hugely influential to me. I really like it, and I just never got past halfway through it, ever. The 2 times I tried, even though it's really good, I just kind of stalled out halfway through. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know why I stalled out halfway through, because it was amazing. So this will be really good for me to read this month as well. So that's 2 nonfictions. So in May, I will be rereading The Hobbit before I read The Lord of the Rings for the first time. I will be rereading the first half of Daring Greatly and finishing the book of Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. And I will be reading The Lonely Patient, and I can't remember the author's name, but I'll put it right here. So those are the books that I have on my May TBR. Of course, I will be planning to read other books other than these 3 books in May, but since I'm not really a TBR person, I'm just going to limit my TBR to these books and then have freedom to read whatever I'm feeling like for the rest of the books. So what are you guys planning on reading in May? Let me know. Do you have any suggestions of books that you think I should read in addition to these 3? Let me know. Well, I guess 4, because I'm rereading The Hobbit, then reading The Lord of the Rings, which I know a lot of people think it's a trilogy, but it's really 1 book with 3 volumes. And then Daring Greatly and The Lonely Patient. So if you guys have any suggestions of other books that you think I should also read in May, let me know below, and let me know what you're planning on reading. Have you read any of the books that I'm planning on reading? Let me know what you thought. I'm sure plenty of you have read The Lord of the Rings at least. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!